No, no, this is a meme. No, no, ain't no way, dude. No, 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 no. Anyway, we're moving away from this to talk about Trump's calls for 100% tariffs and also the disastrous interview that he conducted. I have to go sign a piece of paper real quick.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one. The president saying that he will now put 100% tariff on movies that, as he puts it, are coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. He says, we want movies made in America again. It's not precisely clear whether this includes all foreign language movies that are shown, for instance, in art house cinemas, whether it includes foreign productions on streaming services, or whether it includes all movies that include some aspect of production that are outside of the United States. Because movies, a lot like cars, include various components that are produced in different countries. In a lot of cases, you know, if a movie is scripted in the U.S., cast in the U.S., it might be shot outside of the U.S., in part because a number of other countries include some tax incentives for production of motion pictures. And so the president here is identifying a real issue. You know, talk to anyone in Los Angeles, they do say that a lot of the jobs associated with the motion picture industry have dried up, in part because it's cost prohibitive to shoot movies in California. The president here clearly trying to remedy this issue as part of this broader effort to move production of all kinds of goods and services back to the United States. The president says he does think that new trade deals could be announced this week as part of his effort to reorient global trade. Wolf.
All right, Kevin Liptak over at the White House. Thanks very much. And Pamela, this is personal for me because when I was in Mission Impossible Fallout, the film, they flew me to London for my scene, to film my scene in London. So if Trump gets his way, you couldn't do that anymore. You got to film everything in the United States.
Right, which a lot of people in Hollywood and elsewhere would applaud, right? Not going overseas and having that money be here in the United States, which is what he's doing. But as Kevin pointed out, there's a lot of practical issues with this that would need to be worked out. But interesting. Only you can say that, Wolf, right? I was in Mission Impossible. I had to fly to London.
There are a few other actors in Mission Impossible. Well, they all flew to London.
That's right. That's pretty cool.
I was in James Bond's Skyfall, too.
I know. How many movies have you been in?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, folks.
Movie world reacting to a new announcement by the US president ordering a 100% tariff on foreign films shown in the United States. In a post on Truth Social, Donald Trump said Hollywood is being devastated by productions filmed outside the US and is likening that to a national security threat.
Other nations, a lot of them, have stolen our movie industry. And I'm saying, if they're not willing to make a movie inside the United States, then we should have a tariff on movies that come in. And not only that, governments are actually giving big money. I mean, they're supporting them financially. So that's sort of a threat to our country in a sense.
Eric Gardner is a founding partner and correspondent for Puck News. Joins us now. I often hear you on one of the podcasts. And what is that? You know.
Bro said anime is a national security threat. Okay, I mean, this is the most anti-anime shit I've ever seen. This is literally directly killing Asmongold's entire fan base. Okay, straight up. R.I.P. to the Asmongoldians who have found themselves in this very tricky position where they no longer are saying, yeah, based. Not based. Okay, not based at all. It turns out, no, this is not based. Don't care, didn't ask. Still going to say, yeah, based.
Yeah, a really good and busy slate. Congratulations on that. Eric, good to have you. First up is a very simple question. Does this proposal even make sense when film production is so global and so sort of intertwined? And films, ultimately, correct me if I'm wrong, are not goods. I think they fall under the sort of, you know, the pillar of services, right? Which is generally not what tariffs are all about. So explain what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain what's going on. I'm not sure whether Trump himself knows what's going on. I mean, you know, when we're talking about tariffs, you're usually talking about goods that are shipped into the country, and at the point of entry, that's when the taxes are put on. But when you talk about movies, there's no such thing as them being shipped into the country. It's intellectual property. They get screened everywhere. So exactly how is the tariff going to be imposed? Is it going to be on movie tickets? Is it going to be on producers paying the fees? That's just one of the problems. There's also the question of what is a movie that's produced overseas? Are we talking about where the funding is coming from? Is it about, where is it shot? What happens if it's shot in the United States, but there's some post-production, some special effects over in Asia? Does that, qualify as a foreign film? So there are all these questions. Right now, I'm looking at this executive order, the Truth Social post, and it's very vague. I think there are a lot of people in Hollywood very confused right now.
It's interesting. I mean, even here in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi, where there have been a lot of, pretty significant films made of late, or at least parts of them shot here. They offer a rebate here, and that's as they do in many parts of the world. And that's one of the things that Trump seems to be going after here, rather than what the California governor has been suggesting is helping out Hollywood by actually offering the sort of tax.
This is unserious and just a distraction from Gaza, right? Yes, absolutely. Well, not a distraction from Gaza, but just like a distraction in general. But also because it's just classic Trump. He's a maniac. He comes up with like a maniacal thing out of nowhere, out of the blue. I feel like it also paired nicely with his I'm going to reopen Alcatraz statement. I feel like he just saw a movie. He saw like Escape from Alcatraz or whatever, and he was like, we got to make movies again in America like we used to. And then he chose to, that was what was playing at movie night at Mar-a-Lago. And he was like, and I have a brilliant idea. We're going to do tariffs in order to do movies in America. Movie magic time. It just like doesn't make any fucking sense. The reason why CNN is defending it is because we do have a robust industry here in the United States of America. It's one of the more competent industries that we have in terms of movies, but it is so psychotic to do because it's not just about production for American film. You're all of a sudden trying to shut out any sort of international movies from entering the American marketplace. It's so dumb. Once again, a totally ridiculous statement. A totally ridiculous statement because like it's not directional. It's not saying like we need to move the VFX industry back to the United States, for example. That's like that is a sectoral tariff. It's like applied specifically to one part of the production process. That's fine. That's valid. I like that. Like, what are you? What are you gonna do? Lord of the Rings? What are you gonna do? Film it in Brooklyn? Like, where are you gonna film Lord of the Rings? What are you supposed to do? Sorry, we had to film it in Utah. We're filming Dune this time in Detroit. Lord of the Onion Rings.
Breaks that you see in places like Abu Dhabi. So there is a way of supporting the business. It just doesn't make sense necessarily as far as you're concerned, and I can't get my head around it by using tariffs. Look, take Netflix as a key example. That stock is taking a hit from what's been an all-time high after this news. Let's bring up the live market number for you. Netflix last year spent more than half of its budget on international production. 70% of its 300 million subscribers are outside the United States. Its stock down about 3.5% or more today. You have to assume that's mostly on this. Look, the markets are off slightly today, a bit of profit sharing going on. But, I mean, that's a significant drop for Netflix today. What impact would this tariff have on consumers? How would it change things for the everyday viewer and for an organization like Netflix?
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty unclear right now. I mean, if we're talking just about movies, well, Netflix does most of its, work in television shows. So it's not clear whether or not Netflix is impacted. And if you're, imposing tariffs on movie tickets, maybe that means that Netflix is in a better position. Maybe it means that people, stay home.
Oh, God. It's so much, bro. so much of commentary in the media nowadays is basically just trying to make sense of the Brandonized insanity of Donald Trump. Just everyone for like a week after Donald Trump says something absolutely nutty will just go around and be like, what did he mean by this? I don't know. Maybe he wants to implement tariffs on ticket sales for movies. Maybe he wants to do tariffs on Netflix, like Netflix productions. Like, what happens when one aspect of the production is overseas, but the production itself is an American production? Does that get hit by tariffs? Like, how do we do this? How can we make this happen? And it's like, sometimes you just gotta be like, he's crazy. Sometimes, I mean, I get why they have to do this, but I don't think Trump put this much thought into it. That's all I'm saying. I can't in good conscience sit here and assume that Trump put any thought into this beyond movies used to be beautiful when they made it in America. We must make American movies great again. No more DEI. No more DEI in movies and American-made movies. That's right. Trump watched a K-drama last night and panicked. This is too good. This is too good. The emotions, the raw power, they're so beautiful. We cannot compete. We must make these Koreans American Koreans. We will make K-dramas, but in America, we'll call it a drama. A drama. Give John Voight $1 billion and then give Mel Gibson an American citizenship so that he can make the Jesus movie again and again. It's my favorite movie.
Home, don't go to the movie theater and just binge watch on Netflix. So until we have details about how this is going to be imposed, it's hard to really game out who's winning and who's losing.
Yeah, this is what he said when Parasite won. By the way, how bad were the Academy Awards this year, do you see? And the winner is a movie from South Korea. What the hell was that about? We got enough problems with South Korea on trade. And on top of it, they give it the best movie of the year. Was it good? Then he added, let's get Gone with the Wind. Can we get Gone with the Wind back, please? That was the best picture winner in 1940, 80 years ago. Sunset Boulevard. So many great movies. I'm telling you. Bro, okay. Dude, literally what happened is Mar-a-Lago movie night, okay? Mar-a-Lago movie night. He watches like a Alcatraz movie and he thinks to himself, I have a brilliant idea. I was looking away and I thought you were improvising this. No, this is something that he actually said, which is pretty funny because the thing that I improvised is not off base from what he actually said. Yeah. He literally watched Escape from Alcatraz and said, we need to do all of this. And that's the reason why he said, reopen Alcatraz and make movies great again. Make movies American again. Put Scarlett Johansson to play convincingly an Asian woman. The Asians don't actually need to be Asian. Scarlett Johansson has range. She's beautiful. She's pretty. She's blonde. Why can't we make ScarJo play the role? And maybe Gal Gadot. What a bombshell. Oh, that's a foxy woman. Shut the up. Shut the up. Ain't no, this is fake news. This can't be real. Guess what was on TV in South Florida on Saturday night? 1979 Clint Eastwood film, Escape from Alcatraz. No, this is a meme. No, ain't no way, dude. No. Oh my God, he is demented. Oh my God, he's demented. No. This is fake, right? Like, there's no way this is real. This This is just someone trying to make a joke. I don't think that's the case. No shot. Oh my God. The Independent. Trump announced Alcatraz reopening just hours after Escape from Alcatraz aired on a South Florida PBS station. Dude. He's like a baby. He's got the mind of a child. He's got the mind of an infant. Reporter, how did you decide to reopen Alcatraz? I was supposed to be a movie maker. Nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but I made this joke yesterday. I made this joke verbatim yesterday. Oh my God. I made this joke bar for bar yesterday, dude. Oh my God. What is happening?
To reopen Alcatraz. Can you walk us through that decision?
Did I say what?
To reopen Alcatraz, how will you use it? How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I guess I was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making, and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But it's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the most violent criminals in the world, and nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but they, as you know the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up, and it was a lot of shark bites, a lot of problems. Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz, and just represented something strong having to do with law and order. We need law and order in this country. And so we're going to look at it. Some of the people up here are going to be working very hard on that. And we had a little conversation. I think it's going to be very interesting. We'll see.
Someone clipped me literally doing bar for bar this bit about sharks eating people that are escaping Alcatraz yesterday. I literally made this joke. Oh my God.
If we can bring it back in large form, add a lot. But I think it represents something. Right now it's a big hulk that's sitting there rusting and rotting. You look at it, it's sort of, you saw that picture that was put out, it's sort of amazing. But it sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful.
No, this is from today. I'm saying I made this joke. I made this joke basically verbatim yesterday when I was like, Escape from Alcatraz, beautiful movie. Nobody could escape from Alcatraz, as you know. That's why I'm bringing it back. We're putting more sharks in the water. As you know, sharks in the water. Oh, this is... As many people say, no one has ever escaped Alcatraz. I would have been able to escape it. If I was in Alcatraz, I would have ran away. I would have swam away from the sharks, and then I would have gotten on a boat, but not if the boat has an electric... Okay, I added some extra jokes onto it because I did the Trump bit about sharks versus the electric boat motor, because everybody knows between the boat, God forbid it sinks, between the boat and getting electrocuted or the sharks, I'm not so certain I would take the boat. I would probably take the shark, which is my biggest enemy. I would take the shark. I go back and forth on whether this is actually funny or scary. Okay? Because like I don't know if this is funny or if it's just like incredibly scary that the president's brain is so demented that like a joke that I made yesterday becomes an official presidential decree only 24 hours later. This is not like, it's funny, haha, but also what the fuck? This guy is the president. Not so funny when you think about it, you know?
And strong and miserable, weak. It's got a lot of qualities that are interesting, and I think they make a point. Okay.
He's watching the VODs. Yeah, Trump is a VOD watcher. This is gross. Okay. This is yeah, I saw this before. Not saying anyone should, but I bet you could convince Trump to reopen Alcatraz in under 20 minutes. Nobody ever escaped. I talked to Clint Eastwood and he said, maybe, but we're going to bring it back. Those Californian liberals are going to pay for it too. I mean, this guy's the true prophet, okay? Lisan al-Gaib. Oh, so now it's bad when the president listens to his constituents. There's no pleasing you people. Quick, someone show Trump a bug's life. Those bugs, those ants, they're so beautiful. They're so good. They're so good. They're so hardworking, those ants. And we got to make the factories look like the ants. The ants are going to need to rise up against their masters. It's like the liberals. The liberals are basically the big bugs trying to kill the ants. Keep RFK Jr. away from Plague X. The locusts. I like to think the locusts are Chinese. The grasshoppers hopping around. The ants must beat the Chinese. I'm having too much fun with this idiot being the president. It's not fun, nor is it funny, okay? I think this is devastating. I want to make that clear.
But we got to take it seriously. Obviously, Trump is all about tariffs. You're right. There are incentive ways to drive production in the United States. It's definitely a real issue. There used to be a vibrant economy in Hollywood that was based entirely on people producing movies and TV. And these days, a lot of that happens overseas. But, the use of tariffs to rectify that is kind of strange.
All right, with us now is Justin Wolfers, professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, and Art Hogan, chief market strategist at B. Riley Financial. Professor, I want to start with you with this announcement or statement President Trump made overnight of placing 100% tariffs on foreign-made films. Now, it's unclear if he's talking about literally like foreign films that are in a foreign language shot and produced overseas and then sold here in the U.S., or if he's talking about the Avengers shot on a soundstage in London there. Big picture, Professor, what happens if this trade war expands to services and intellectual property?
Yeah, so that's the really big news here. I think actually there's two pieces of news. One, the president has opened a whole new front in the trade war, because the thing about movies is...
Put a tariff on this guy. Moving on.
Yeah, please.
Trump blames grossly incompetent Newsom for Hollywood's problems when defending movie tariffs.
Can you explain a little bit about how you would implement tariffs on the film industry, kind of how that would work?
Well, that's a different story, but our film industry has been decimated by other countries taking them out, and also by incompetence, like in Los Angeles. The governor is a grossly incompetent man. He's just allowed it to be taken away from, Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't do very much of that business. They have the nice sign and everything's good, but they don't do very much. A lot of it's been taken to other countries, and a big proportion. And I'm actually going to meet with some, because, there's some advantages, I guess, and I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry. But they're given financing by other countries. They're given a lot of things. And the industry was decimated. If you look at how little is done in this country now, you think we were the ones. We used to do 100, not long ago, 100%. Now we do almost like very little. It's shocking. Are you in that business too? Because he's in so many businesses. You could explain it, but it's not a good situation. So we're going to meet with the industry. I want to make sure they're happy with it, because we're all about jobs. That's all what it's very important. It's a big industry, but it's an industry now that's, it's really left, it's abandoned the USA where it started. And we'll get it back. Yeah, please.
Thanks, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. Some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope. and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?"
My question about
Actually, I would not be able to be married, though. That would be a lot. I'd have to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not that we know of. No. I think it's the fake news media that, they're fakers.
My question, though, sir, was about the fact that it was put out on the White House account, even though it was AI generated, it was a joke, it was a meme. Does it at all diminish the substance of the official White House account to have it go out on that particular
Give me a
channel?
break. It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you?
When he starts taking Q&As, we'll get to Trump live, by the way, because he's signing executive orders again, and he's most likely going to do a Q&A afterwards. But when the Q&A starts, we'll get to it.